Hi, I'm Raz the Reader, and welcome to my YouTube channel, where we read the tarot and foster intuition. So today we're going to be talking about the sometimes dreaded Death card. That's right, the Death card. This card is labeled the 13th card, but technically it's the 14th card in the deck if you count the Fool as the 0 card. Again, this is going to be out of my Rider-Waite standard tarot deck. So this card is one of the major arcana cards. There are 22 total cards out of the 78 cards that are considered major arcana. Today I want to start with talking about the textbook or divinatory meanings, and then we'll get to a little bit more of the intuitive types of explanations and descriptions. So this card can mean things like the end, mortality, destruction, even corruption, but more so it's change. It can mean new beginnings, that you need a new beginning. Sometimes, it's just plain death, but it can also be death of something else, death of someone else. And then I want to kind of go over some of the reversed textbook meanings as well. Can mean things like inertia, sleep, lethargy, being stalled, being stuck, needing a change of some type, or needing some transformation, and maybe you're being blocked from this change or transformation by something. So, Death card is indicative of changes. This can be any aspect of your life. Usually it is permanent, absolute, and significant. And, there can definitely, with the Death card, be a severance between past and future. And sometimes it can be painful, but it doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be a negative card. I think that's the most important thing. For example, it could be a relationship spread that you're doing and the Death card comes up. I did one for a client recently, and the Death card came up in place of the querent's new love interest or boyfriend. And I said, hey, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to break up or that you or he is going to die or perish. This could just mean that maybe the new person you're dating went through a breakup or transformation recently. Maybe they're divorced. I mean, there's a lot of different things that when we get into this. And remember, you have your textbook meanings, but always let your intuitive juices flow, so to speak. So remember, the thing about death is, it's inevitable for us all. It's natural. I believe the card, and its meanings aren't as scary when we accept that. It's just a natural part of the human and a universal experience for us all. And things can't move forward without death, unfortunately, or transitions, new beginnings, and things like that. The Death card can also mean things like the end of a close friendship, maybe a divorce, job change, or loss. And it can be related to someone we love, connected to certain life events. Maybe somebody dies and it impacts you. It could be positive or negative. Maybe they don't die, but maybe you have a bad boss and, you ask the universe to give you some messages on your work and you get the Death card and you're thinking, well, I have this bad boss. Well, maybe that boss is leaving. Maybe they're changing positions, or maybe there's going to be a change in how they treat you or how you treat them, and that's going to impact your relationship there. So I want us to always look deeply into these cards and do it, a little bit of intuitive work, and just be open to the fact that it can mean a lot of different things. So it could mean that, I hate to say death is ever a good thing, but, maybe somebody's suffering and maybe they're not going to suffer any further after a while. But remember, don't focus on the negative with the Death card. It's actually not my favorite card, but it's one of my the cards that I've always, kind of liked. And being a horror movie fan and liking heavy metal and that kind of thing, I think the Death card is kind of cool. But let's go over to the description of the Death card. It shows a Grim Reaper type figure. He's riding a white horse or steed. And to me, that white horse is kind of a sign of purity or a new beginning, even though he has red or orange-red eyes. And there are definitely people dying in this scene on this card, as we see here. Maybe some kings or bishops, and then maybe some common folks as well. So this affects everybody from the top down, whether you're rich or poor. And, I think it definitely has that symbolism in there that nobody escapes death. But if you look at this card closely, you see a lot of other things going on, some new growth. You see, a beautiful river, water source in the background. You see also a boat. And anyways, I do want to tell a quick story before I kind of finish up with this card. I had a coworker recently that was going on a cruise, and this is when the everything started kind of with this whole virus, the honey badger virus, or whatever you want to call it, and the Rona. And so I was thinking, wow, she's still going on this cruise with all this going on. So I did a poll and asked the universe, give me a message on what's going on with this cruise. Well, I pulled one card and it was the death card. So of course I thought, well, this is probably me projecting, right? I mean, I've been thinking all these negative thoughts about her going on this cruise, so this is me projecting, right? Well, she got 30 minutes out of town the day she was going on the cruise, and she finds out the cruise is canceled. So sometimes we get these intuitive messages, and maybe we just don't analyze them correctly right off the bat, or maybe we don't understand what it means right off the bat, and we won't always, and sometimes we won't for some time. But I started thinking, okay, that's what the death card meant here, that the cruise was going to be canceled, not that she was going to die on the cruise. So I think that is an interesting little side bit there. But anyway, I also wanted to say one last thing about the death card. Always remember, as in any of the cards, but especially the major arcana cards, I feel like, where it is in the spread or in relation to the other cards in the spread, if it's in a spread, the card can have different meanings, and just be intuitive. Yes, you have your textbook meanings, but always look at it and try to make sense of it and tell the story of the cards. So I've been pulling this card a lot recently. I don't know why, and for clients and myself, all of a sudden I really didn't pull it much before, in the previous months, but just lately I've been pulling it. But just remember, maybe you need some change in your life. Maybe you need a transformation, and maybe you won't get to choose that. Maybe it's just going to happen. But anyway, I think that's enough about the death card today. And again, I'm Raz the Reader. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as I'm starting this new journey with this new tarot card YouTube channel, it really helps me out a lot. And I'll see you on the next ride.